like I love it, but I don't. Like, if money was not involved in my speculations of my efforts and my goals, would that change for me? And so I've been having a kind of a hard time deciphering what that means to me. So I figure I'm gonna take some psychedelics today and meditate with it and see if I can get some answers from the universe or spiritual guide and path. I don't know. I just kind of feel tired.
Do you think money's making the decisions for you now?
It's interesting. I'm comfortable where I'm at, and I think that's kind of like the downfall of it. When we've both been broke, our energy levels are crazy high, and we're like, let's get this, and like we get this, but it's almost a couple times where if I had money, I've spent money to make myself broke just so I could keep working. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I understand. You need the feeling of your back against the wall.
Yeah,
it's what helps you push. No, I fucking fully understand what you're saying.
Yeah. And it doesn't make sense. I know it doesn't, and it's like I don't like the misery of it, but that drive—that's what drives me. Is when
Yeah, I think that's innately in all of us. That I don't know about all of us, but I know that a lot of athletes do shit like that, or they'll only read bad tweets about themselves, just because it lights them up. It fires them up. And so, like most athletes, if you ask them about articles that were written about them, they only remember the bad ones.
Yeah,
there could have been 10,000 good articles written, but like that athlete's gonna remember the 2 that shitted on him, and maybe even cut him out and put him in his locker. You know what I mean? Like that feeling of okay.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And it's kind of like so my goal is to be rich, and like right now, if I wanted to travel anywhere in the world, I could do it. And so like in that sense, that bucket list there is checked off, because my goal is I want to travel freely wherever I want to, and I want to do the things I want to when I want to. I want that ultimate freedom with it. But then I'm like, okay, well, how about if somehow I just got $1 million? How would I feel then? Would I feel fulfilled because that was my goal? And I think my ultimate goal a long time ago was I wanted to also change the world. I wanted to impact the world. And I just didn't know how, but I knew money would help that. I could be able to do a lot with money. And I think I don't know how to do it now. Before, it's like I knew it's going to come, and I knew that goal is going to come too. It's just I don't know how I can impact it. And so I think that's what I've been struggling with the past 2 weeks is what type of impact am I going to have on the world, and which way am I going to do it? And so
I've got a pretty basic question to kind of what you just said about the $1 million, but let's like officially start the podcast. So if you could roll us in, let's roll it, and then I'll pose my question. Okay.
Yeah, you got it.
Oh, by the way, we're live because this shit is too good to let go. So just roll it in, baby.
All right, well, let's go. Well, shit, what's up? This is Cloud Conversations with Loriana Mercado.
I'm Harvey Banks.
The podcast where 2 longtime friends talk about anything and everything, from our daily lives to what's trending and to shit that'll make you say, what the fuck? So let's jump right back into it.
Let's jump in. So what you were saying about how, like, if you were to get $1 million, right?
Yeah.
How would you feel about that? Would you feel like, okay, I done it, so like, whatever, now what, you know?
Mm-hmm.
First basic question that came to my mind, and it's gonna be super basic, but I think the answer is gonna be interesting, right? If you got that $1 million, what would you do?
Right.
Like if you wake up in the morning and boom, it's there.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
First thing I'm doing, I'm paying off all my debt. I'm calling you at 3 a.m, waking you up to tell you, or I might just show up at your doorstep. I haven't decided yet. And then I'm going to pay off all your debt. and then I'm gonna pay off my sister's debt and my godparents' debt, and then I'm gonna take a trip. And
Mhm.
then within that trip, I see myself in Greece, and I'm in one of those fucking pools that's like half in, half open. So I'm outside, and I have a stack of books, and I'm gonna meditate. And from there on, I've hopefully get some euphoric experience to answer to how I can help others.
Mhm. That's interesting. I honestly, like, if I were to wake up to have the million,
Hmm.
I at first, I don't think I would do anything. I would do the things that you said do at first, like, I'm paying off my debt and everyone that I love's debt.
Yeah.
Just because, like, I think that's one of the most biggest pieces of freedom that you could, like, give someone without being a dick, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm
Exactly.
like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. It's like
"Here,
the
this weight is
chains are
now
off.
off."
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you're free to do what you wanna do now, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, I love the idea of that. Um, I would take a trip as well, but it would just be a trip, like, strategic, you know what I mean? Like, I just wanna sit and be still for a while,
Yeah.
and I don't wanna do anything or commit to doing anything with the money aspect of it,
Yeah.
because
Exactly.
it comes back to that thing about, like, where we say, like, if the money wasn't a factor, what would you do? Like, what would you be doing? Who would I be? And, like, I understand. I think I found who I am recently, like this pandemic recent, right? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I know exactly what I would do for free for the rest of my life, right?
Hmm.
And so it's like, first, I know that I can't be too overly, I don't know the word I want to use, euphoric about it, right? I've got to be strategic. Like, basically, I'm trying to figure out how much of this money and how can I take this money and make it do the things for me so that I can continue to do the things that I want to do.
Hmm.
And I want to be able to not think about what my money's doing.
Oh yeah.
You know what I
Definitely.
mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah. And even just thinking about that now, I feel free. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the money construct, I feel free. And so you were saying, like, you would try to figure out your impact on the world and, like, what that would look like. Another basic question for you is, uh, like, are you sure that's what you want to do?
Yeah. Because
Like, intentionally impact the world.
I do. Because there's little things in my life that have had a big impact on me, where I've looked back at it and I was like, I don't want that to happen to anybody. And even
Yeah.
just small things that we take for granted, like housing, food, or the cold weather, and you got to sleep outside. And
Hmm.
it's like, those basic human rights. I want to make sure there's places in the world that we don't have to do that. And like, I am so privileged to have my own place that's a 2 bedroom, and, rent's paid, and food, and like, people everywhere else is living off not even a third of this, less than a third of what I'm paying. And I'm just like, and I get it, it's a different culture and lifestyle, but it's just, I just want to bring some sort of happiness to everybody else. And I'm sure
Hmm.
they're more happy than we are at some
That's a
extent.
crazy thing. Yeah.
Yeah. But, it's just like, hey, make sure everyone has like clean water, housing, tools, knowledge, and stuff like that. And it's just something that feels good and feels right. And I want to be able to just supply that.
Hmm. It's and I don't want it to be taken out of context. I would love to have an impact on the world, right? I'm just a little more, um I'm very nervous of my energy nowadays, right?
Huh.
Like
Yeah.
it's I don't know what's happened. I think it's anxiety, right? Because, like, I am very empathetic. And it sounds weird, but, like, I'm empathetic so much that I do try to avoid people
Yeah.
and their problems, because it'll just take me over until I can help them find a solution. You know what I mean? And I know, and that's probably selfish of me, right? And I'm aware of that. But if I'm being honest, like, It's why I've really shrunk my world down. And so a lot of people would describe me as, oh yeah, he really don't give a fuck about nothing. I'm like, this, bruh, it couldn't be more the opposite, right?
Right.
So I don't get involved in a lot of stuff just because I know my level of get involved might not match their level of get involved. And then that's going to hurt me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, if you're telling me you've got a problem with this, and I'm like, okay, I think I can help them with this problem, and I go all in to help you, and you're not going to where I'm willing to go to help you, you're not doing that to help yourself, I'm just going to be like, fuck, like, I'm pissed off. Like, I can't want this more than you do. Or it's hard to explain, but it's like,
Yeah, it's kind of just I just don't have any. I've grown and learned not to have any expectations from people. So it's
mm,
like if I want to do something nice, I leave it at that because I used to be like that, and even I wanted at least I wanted a thank you or something, and a lot of
yeah,
times I
yeah,
don't even get that. But and it's kind of like when you do a nice deed and nobody's looking, and
hmm,
so I've kind of accepted that fact just because if it can impact them in a certain way. Like we had some leftover food at the restaurant, and I took it with me, and it had some like shrimp in it. I don't eat meat, and I wasn't about it, so it's like I'll just give it over to the homeless because there's a lot around me, and I knew where they sleep, so I walked over. I was like, "Yo, you hungry?" Gave it to this dude, and he's just like, he looked at me like, "Whoa, are you doing God's work?" And it threw
yeah,
me back, and I was like, "No, not really. I'm just doing some just thought you hungry, you out on the cold." And then he decided to tell me what he's doing with his life for the next week, just to be like, yo, I'm on the path, I'm gonna find a job tomorrow and this and that. And whether he did or not, it's just not up to me. But you know I smile just knowing that you know he wasn't
yeah,
hungry at night.
yeah. No, that's it's a wonderful thing. I remember we used to have conversations on the phone when we was fucking piss broke, right?
Yeah.
And I used to question you all the time, like, why in the fuck do you want to help people so much? Like, I'm aware of how fucked up these people probably think I am, right? But I would be like, no. Like, you'd be like, well, don't you want to help? And I'm like, no, that ain't none of my business. I ain't getting involved, right? And
Right.
so, like, I've softened on that stance a little bit. I still hold some of that in me, and it's not something I'm just going to stubbornly say, this is how I'm going to be. I'd like to work through it, right?
Yeah.
But in a moment of honesty, I know it's still one of my biggest things is like, I mind my business way too well.
Yeah,
Like,
but if you think about it, your business is pretty big because your business revolves around you and your new family that you have, and
absolutely.
you have a big family. In my perspective, I've been solo dolo for t-
Exactly.
15 years, and so it's like when I tell people like my family, all my friends, it's like that, and then when I don't have any friends, the world is my fucking family.
Yeah. And it's so like I'll hit people with like I really don't have time. Even to like conversations that I have with my lady that she wants to have. And I'm just like, no, I'm not interested in talking about this right now.
Yeah.
And it sounds rude, but like I am being we have we're a blended family. We have a total of 8 children and 2 of us and surrounding families. No, I legit don't have time, right? Because
Yeah.
these are children that have needs and there's a lot of them is stupid needs, but they're still needs. And children can be annoying, but it just takes a lot of time and effort and energy because I have to teach them. So I have to hear their problem, address their problem, and then teach them how to address it themselves going forward.
Yeah.
It's a lot of energy in that. So like when a grown up comes to me with grown up fucking problems that like I told you to leave him a year ago. My
Yeah.
advice is the same. You keep going back, that's on you. I just have less patience for it because not because their problems don't matter or because they have ill intentions, because I got so many fucking kids I'm dealing with and I have to be patient with them because they're children.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's just tiring, man, at times. And it's yeah, it's tiring.
Yeah, you're teaching them emotional intelligence, and that takes a lot, you know. And when you see an adult and you're like, "Huh, should I teach him how to do this better, or should I just give him the $5 he's asking for?" And that's a tough road. And you're just like, fuck your $5. You're grown. Figure this shit out. You got this. And for kids, you're like, no, this is why we do things and this is why we don't do things. And I get
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Especially because it's like we give the kids those lessons in that time in hopes that they won't be that adult that annoys us.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like it's all to keep them from being that person.
No, it makes total sense. Like I was walking to the grocery store the other day and had my headphones on and some homeless guys right in front of the building, just like always. And he was like, "Hey, you got any money?" And I was like, "Not yet." And he's like, "Oh, okay, because I'm hungry." And I go in and I literally like grocery stores are stupid too because it's all expensive. It's like a convenience store. So I bought him
Mhm.
like a bag of goodies, something to drink, fucking couple sandwiches and like chips and shit like that. And it's like $20 for this shit. And come out and be like, "Here you go. I just got you a little party package thing." And he goes, "Oh yeah." It's like, I really wanted to get some dabs, like some weed shit. And I'm looking at him like,
I
bitch,
thought you was hungry, fam.
yeah, I thought
Like,
you was hungry. Yeah. He was hungry for some smoke. And I was just like,
damn.
what? And I was like,
It just
so
brings you
it's
back to like
hard.
for me, it's what's the dollar worth,
Yeah.
right? And I could just yeah, it's what's the dollar worth for me because the homeless thing gets tricky just because I've had a lot of like conversations with homeless people, and then I've also been homeless, right?
Yeah.
And so I was lucky enough to have a car. And like, I'm not talking long. This was 2016. I didn't have a place to stay.
Yeah.
I was sleeping in my car on in the garage of a mall that I worked in. They had like the garage parking. I just went to the top of that. Like, yeah, I understand what it means. So I do have a certain level of I always give them the respect,
Yeah.
right? And it's but I can also see differences in different homeless people, right?
Oh
And
yeah.
it's like any homeless person that looks embarrassed to ask for the money, I always give
Right.
because they're working through the, the need for help. It's hard for me who's not homeless or broke to ask for help. It's one of the hardest things people do, right?
Yeah.
And it's like to be on your last and it be survival's on the line and you still have that embarrassment. You know what I mean? Like these are kind of the types of feelings and emotions that you can't fake. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's like, I don't want to just give you the money. I also want to let you know that this isn't it for you. And I'm not looking down on you. And like, if anything, you got a friend in me. See, because we
Hmm.
got something in common now. Because I remember nights crying in that fucking car. Like, what the fuck did happen to me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, do you know? I can't explain the amount of nights that I ask myself, like, how the fuck did I get here? What mistakes did I make in my life? I'm really not shit. Like, I never got suicidal or anything like that. But like depression, yeah, man, it's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And so I understand it. So like when I see people struggle, instantly I can bond with them because it's like, no, 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 no. I'm not helping you to help you. I know I know what that's like. I usually try to crack a joke or something or talk about something completely different
Yeah.
just to talk about a human thing. I don't want to make this about your situation. You know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
this one dude. We had this one homeless dude. He pretty much lived at the monument downtown in Indianapolis, and the monument downtown is pretty much the center for everything, right?
Yeah.
And so me and Jesse used to walk by him 3, 4, 5 times a week. And my lady, she at the time, she still does, but she had like really long hair, like past her ass long hair, right?
Hmm.
And every time he would compliment her hair, right? And every time I'd be like, my man, what you doing? Like, come on. Just, joking, like,
Yeah.
but every single time he would compliment her hair. And like we would give him a little something, this or that. And so then like we stopped seeing him. And 10 to 20 times after going there, she would either ask her, I would ask her, hey, did you see homeboy? Like, where's old dude? Like, he just disappeared. And like it bothered me because I don't know where my friend is at now, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think about like, oh, I wonder where that homeless dude went. I'm thinking like, oh shit. Cause like I made a it's like a friend, bro. And like that's how I know I'm off on a tangent, but that's what it made me think about, right? It was like him. And it's just like, damn, that's a fucked up situation. Homelessness is fuck. And imagine if you got kids, bro.
Yeah. That'd be, and some people do. I think I walked by a homeless and there's a little body next to him sleeping on some blankets. And I was just like, I don't know. Like you hit me so hard with that statement. I really can't get it out of my head. What's the dollar worth? And it's just so magical because from the perception of where I'm at in my life now to the perception of homelessness,
Yes.
it's a it's like a thin line, but it's so different. It's like it has so many different meanings, and I'm just not sure what fulfillment is. And I guess through this whole journey for myself with trying to be rich, it's you know, it's for selfish reasons, just so I can never be homeless again. And I don't want my bloodline to have to deal with homeless because I've been in the same boat and lived in shelters and stuff like that. And I was just like, fuck. So I don't know how to take care of that, but I do know one of my missions in life is to just not have somebody else feel the same way we've both felt. And sometimes if somebody even gave us a dollar during those times, it was like the best thing of the world. And it was like so much depression. Usually it's just to buy a pack of smokes or something like that just to get through the fucking day. But
And listen, and it's you feeling all of those things is a beautiful thing. Because let me tell you the impact that it has from a firsthand account, right? So I'm sleeping in the back of this car, right? So what
mhm,
I end up doing was I volunteered to do the overnight stocking. I worked at Urban Outfitters, Fashion
mhm,
Mall, right here off Keystone, right?
yeah,
This is 100% true fucking story, right? And so I volunteered to do the nights. Why? It's winter and it's cold, bro. I can at least be inside, right? So
yeah,
I'm working inside at night, and then like I would just kind of hang out at the mall throughout the day, right? And like I got a gym membership, and I would go to the gym in the mornings when I got off, and like sleep in the parking lot of the gym for about 2, 3 hours. Get up and go in the gym, work out to get woke up, and then shower and change into my night work clothes because that's the place I could shower and change clothes, right?
right.
And then I would just go back to the mall and like grab a bite to eat at the mall and then just kind of walk around and so I had an assistant manager that I know she noticed, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because she would order food every night at work. And I noticed she didn't do that when we first started doing it. But like she would just get food and food would just show up at 2 or 3 in the morning. And it would be like take to go stuff, right?
Hmm.
Like, and I know she was doing this for me. Cause then she was like, do you need more? You want some more hours? And so you could just tell when I could tell she knew my situation without me having to talk to her about it.
Yeah.
And I could tell she was doing things just to benefit me. And I will never in my life forget her for that. I have
Right.
no idea where she's at now or what she, if I ever come across her, I will then have the balls or the guts to say thank you because at the time I wasn't able to get past the shame. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, I'll never forget that. And it's like she didn't have to do nothing. She could have said, "Oh my God, are you home?" Like she could have. It could have went a lot of different ways, but like it was like, nah, I got. Like she understood without. We don't have to talk about it, and that's just doing good for just good sake.
Right.
I'll never forget that. And so the fact that like when you say, this is what you want to be able to do it for this, I champion that because like there's a chance that you're gonna make somebody feel the way that she made me feel.
Right.
And she gave me that feeling. And I share that with others now. People that come and do work for me. My homeboy. I ain't gonna say his name, but like I overpay him all the time. I know what he's going through. We don't ever have to talk about what he's talked about it to me before, but I know what it's like. So like I always break him off something. If I make a little extra on the job, you know what I'm saying? I break my man's off a little something. I'm like, oh shit, nah, we just did this and that. So we gotta, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to ever him to ever think like it's handouts or not. I just want him to be good. Because I know what an extra $45 would have done for me back then.
Oh, yeah. It's kind of life changing. So I
It'd have
don't.
been massive at the time. So I try to do that just because, hey man, somebody did this to me and I don't she was an angel, bro. Like, I will never forget that lady.
All right. I just can't stand let's see here. I live in Southern Oregon right now, and it says the weather right now is about 45 degrees, and it's just 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I see these homeless people walking around with blankets, and I'm cold as shit with like long pants, a hoodie, a jacket, and fucking gloves and all this shit on. And I'm cold, and these motherfuckers just got like a blanket and a t-shirt, and I'm just, it breaks my heart. I
Yeah,
don't
man.
know. Do you think it's gonna take money or education or the combination of two to kind of cure this mess for humans?
Oh, education is an interesting word because can I substitute education with experience?
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
experience only
Explain.
be and I mean experience like it's very, very hard to have empathy for a situation that you've never been exposed to.
Right.
You like and I believe if more people had experience dealing with different issues, dealing with homeless people, dealing with the economics of money, period, we would be a little bit better off. Because you can give all the education that you want. People talk about free education, bro. That we have free education right now.
We really do.
We have it. I don't give a fuck what you want to learn. There's free education right now. It's not working.
Right.
You still have like you still have to make that choice to learn it. So I don't know that education is the answer. I think experience is yeah, empathy, man, empathy and experience. And I think to have a real level of empathy, you have to have some real level of experience to go with it.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
just me. What you think?
No, that's well said. That's exactly. But when I said education, I guess my mind was thinking of, well, do we go out there and kind of educate people how not to be homeless while they're homeless? But then again, it kind of stems from
Talk
the
about that for a second.
I believe it just stems from like the older generation because right when you were talking about empathy and experience, I'm like, well, I wonder what the population and the ratio is from the older generation being homeless to the young new generation being homeless.
Mhm.
Because I figure since technology and education has been so free since the internet's boomed up with YouTube and all this shit, it's like, are we just getting better at knowing what to do and how to take care of ourselves better? And is this why all the homeless people we see are a lot older than us? Or is there a
Um,
mix and a blend?
I believe that we have yes. So education is a perfect word. Then if this is how you're saying it, because this
Yeah.
is what I'm taking from it now. Now that you say that, I do think that the younger generation has a better knowledge on how to use these resources.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That
So
makes
like,
sense.
even if you get to a homeless state, it's very hard for a young person to be homeless unless they want to be.
That's exactly what I'm saying. And that's
You
what
know
I've
what I mean?
seen. When's the last time you saw like a young homeless person that was like really homeless and wasn't just being like a hippie?
Young and homeless without the drug addiction, you don't see it that much. Now the drugs is a caveat that does some weird things, right?
Hmm.
That can change the experience because I've seen young drug addicts that are out there, but it's the drugs. The homelessness
Yeah.
they don't give a fuck about because they're chasing the drug. And
Yeah.
so that one, it sounds fucked up, but I understand it.
Yeah.
It's like I can look at it and say, "Oh no, that's it. The drug is way stronger than any other receptors to them.
Ooh,
I
and see,
understand that.
go ahead and preach on that because there's an education purpose within that too. And like, so when I quit smoking or drinking or something like that, and coffee or some shit like that, I've realized I do not have control over this something else. And so that's
Mhm.
when I need to take a break to let the universe know I'm in control of my own decisions in my brain.
A
And sometimes
hundred
like
percent.
and so it's just kind of like they lost control, don't know how to grasp it again. But I'm
Yes.
curious if they were able to detox and like, hey, and I thought about this. I bought a pack of smokes like last week and I was walking back, seeing homeless people. I'm like, if I was a billionaire or millionaire and I just walked up to these guys, had a conversation, was like, are you willing to go through a program right now and to change your life? And my thing is, I'm just curious how many would say yes or no, or how many would try it but quit. And and pretty much what I would do, I would put them in like some facility, like a 30-day rehab thing. You get clean, but then you're right off the bat after you get clean, you're going to get like $5,000, and then you're also going to get a job. And it's like I want to see your story after that whole year and how you progress. And what
I,
tools did you need to further yourself?
yeah. I think a key to that is not your situation specifically, but like a key to, you have to show them what's next. And that's for any addict, right? And so like if you're addicted to drugs
Yeah.
and you tell them, "Hey, most of the drug addicts I've known, they want to get clean. Not more than they want to get high, but there is this thing in them that wants to be clean, right? And they may say to you they're not ready yet, which is honest and true, right?
Yeah, very
So,
much.
but you're going to have to present them what's next, cuz that's the scary thing. If I don't have this drug, what do I have? So if I get clean, and I don't know what's next. What's next? What's after that? Like when they kick me out of the rehab place, well, what am I going to do? Like I think the next steps has to be clear to them, because this conversation happens in the hood a lot when they're telling these kids to stop selling drugs.
Hmm.
They don't know anything else. What's next? Well, then they might be able to go to this. You can get a job at this factory. Well, my dad works there. He struggles. So like a better option hasn't been presented to them.
Well, what about just the ultimate question? And go ahead and change this word if you know a better definition, because I think you might. How about if I walked up to somebody who's like, do you want to be successful? And that doesn't mean rich or anything like that. It means successful in your own eyes, whether that's a roof over your head and food on the table. That's success for one person. So, how about if we just walked up, like, do you want to be successful? Yes. Well, what does that look like? Great. All right. So, there's that next step, that goal that you can kind of work towards. Would that work?
I think so, and I think what you just said in a quick little spill of the brain,
Yeah.
I think a lot of doctors and outreach specialists need to hear that.
Hmm.
You're telling them the next steps. How about we ask them?
Yeah.
Because you may be leading them down your path.
And that's where failure
See,
happens.
but
Yeah.
traditional paths don't work for them. They've
Mm.
tried that.
Yeah.
So you need to figure out what's the best situation for them. And it comes with as simple as what you just said. What does that look like? So
I love
you
that.
would like to be clean. You would like to, okay, if you don't mind me, like, what does that look like for you? Like, you get to paint your own picture. What does that look like? And then they might say, I don't know, like, I used to like, I really like nursing. I'd like to really help people.
Yeah.
So you want to help people. Okay. And then you can, knowing that information, you can present them with so many options after the clean part, right?
Yeah.
You just want to help people. You ever thought about helping us? Hey, go through this and get clean and then work with us. Or maybe you can get into school. Like, like it's just, I don't think we ask them enough questions.
That's true. And that I'm writing that down because I think I'll be able to create something and do that.
Yeah. No, that was brilliant. Like, what if they would just listen to what you just said? I think it would be huge. Like, it would be huge.
Right. And some of them are probably happy too. I know Eugene, Oregon's kind of hippie USA, and they're happy living in the streets and doing what they do. They have a friends, family, and they figure out their own way, living out in tents and stuff, and smoke weed, and that's fine. I'm just more worried about the people who got that second wind in them, but are lost.
Yeah. I got a weird question to ask you. It's
Hmm.
gonna sound super fucking strange, but if you recognize it, it's gonna be even more strange, and I might just close the laptop. I'm gonna be honest, it's out there. So remember when we was in New York, right?
Okay.
So you remember? I don't remember which day it was, but I seen this girl 2 days in a row.
Huh.
You seen the homeless slash drug dealer and users?
Oh yeah.
Right. Do you remember seeing a guy? I seen this one guy like 3 times
Hmm.
in the area we were staying at near what I guess it was 34th up to 42nd. That was like his little strip, right? He would walk up and down.
Yeah.
And there was a girl. She was young and mixed looking. Like, had she not been probably selling herself for drugs, very, very attractive,
Hmm.
but very young. I seen her 2 days in a row.
Hmm.
And I kept thinking about this girl because I was like, what leads her to this?
Yeah.
And what keeps her? Because I'm going to guess a lot of people have probably tried to save her. But I
Right.
wonder what would happen if someone asked her, what does that look like for you?
Right.
What does clean living look like for you? Because maybe people but like it. And the only reason I say that, not because she was attractive, is because she's young. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
And
it's
that's the
like,
big.
what is that? What is something is keeping her selling her body? Because she was walking up to men. She's got the game. She's got the game, bruh. I watched her. She's walking. I think honestly, the second time I seen her, you was going to look for a bathroom.
Hmm.
I was standing on the corner waiting for you, and we were waiting. We were about to do the bus thing, and she came up then. But I had seen her the day before, and she was talking to like 4 different men, and she's just straight trying to sell herself, bro. And I'm like, wow, like what led you to the point where this is a better option than anything else?
Right. I think that's a little tougher because in the young person's mind, there is no education. I think your brain is still like a sponge. And so you only take in what's been taught to you. And the way of success is like, hey, this is how you come up. And you don't know any different or better, or at least a different route. So, for that point of view, it'd almost be like you'd have to show her a different example, but like, hey, you could do this and make more money and be happiness and keep your body temple intact.
And that's my question: is it the money or the drugs? I think she could be only doing what she's doing to get the money to get drugs. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's like, did drugs lead you? Is drugs that factor that's like, no, this fucking drug is way more important than any amount of dicks I gotta suck?
Kinda, because it's like the drug fills in a blank void people have. And for myself, taking some psychedelics tonight would be, looking for an unanswered question type thing for myself. So there's a purpose behind it. But in that state, it fills up a lot of stuff. It fills up like this void. When people drink too much, all of a sudden you get warmth, you get confidence, and you feel all these different emotions has arise. Like, I like those things about me, and then that goes away, and it's like, how do I get that back? How do I feel powerful and back in control of who I am? And sometimes that's feeling every vibration in your body by fucking it up. But a lot of people can't come back from that because then the drug's in control and the drug does not
So
care about your body.
have you? You don't have to share if you don't want to, because I'm not sure that I know the answer to this question.
I've
Have
never
you
sucked dick
been?
for crack. Oh, that wasn't it.
No, no, that was part two. But okay, that was my follow up. But first question was, have you ever been like heavily addicted to drugs?
um,
And I'm not talking about
yeah.
weed, like
Right.
I guess you could be heavily addicted to weed too if it's like keeping you from doing the shit that you need to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, to me, I saw weed as being addicting at one
Hmm.
point, because it was like I was doing it every day, but it's like my routine was what created it. I was waking up, having morning coffee, and then weed was just perfect. But then I knew I couldn't do anything fully productive and manageable that was like focus based. Like I was going to get some shit done. But then again, I didn't have any like concrete goals. I want to hit some milestones.
Hmm.
But I guess this is slightly a tough one because I like to experiment a lot with things, especially with my mind and my body, just to see what I'm capable of. And so a lot of people say I had a alcohol problem, and I've gotten a lot of trouble with alcohol. And so it's definitely to blame, and like as in like it's never brought me anything good except for a lot of crazy sex.
Hmm.
But it was and I used to tell people, I was like, no, I like to party. I have a lot of friends that, we drink every day or drink every other day. And it was like a platform type thing for us. But it's like I wasn't waking up in the morning and I had to have a beer or I had to have like a fifth vodka, which like I've seen a lot of alcoholics turn to. It was more like the nighttime comes, it's a party movement. But I definitely was in my early to mid 20s, so I don't think I've ever been really addicted to drugs, but I think coffee was one of them for a couple of years too. And that's why I don't
Hmm.
drink coffee anymore. It's like anything that made me do automatically and I didn't know why, I focused on quitting or at least taking breaks from to see how my body would react. And I just didn't ever like that kind of stuff. I always want to be in full control. And every couple months, I'll let myself go out of control a little bit to shake my shit up and make life interesting in my way. But no, I don't think
Yeah.
I've ever been fully addicted to anything, or else I don't
Now,
think I'd
do
be
you?
talking to you.
Yeah,
I
yeah, maybe.
I have
I
been
mean,
addicted to sex though.
yeah, yeah. Not. I definitely have to, and not like I like to have a lot of sex. Like it was detrimental to everything I had going.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I fully don't. I don't think a lot of people understand what addicted to sex actually means, and that's the only reason I. That's the only reason I added that. Like, it's not what y'all think. It's
Yeah.
not. Oh yeah, I like to fuck. Everyone does. This is
Yeah.
different, bro. This
Yeah.
is tactical. This is not.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I fully understand what you mean, and that's something that like. Oh, that's a tough one. You can make up so many things in your head to justify fucking.
Oh yeah.
Oh, so many things in your head. Here's how addicted to the sex that I was. My middle child's mother one
Mhm.
day just randomly gave me the definition of who I am, right? She
Yeah.
told me, you're polyamorous. She's like, I heard this word today and it describes you.
Yeah.
It's polyamorous. It just means that you can love multiple people and love multiple things at the same time.
Yep.
Me and her only had a sexual relationship. Me and this one, we didn't have a romantic. We had a sexual relationship, then a deep friendship because we had a child together, right?
Right.
So like her knowing me on deep levels, she's like, "Oh no, yeah, that's him. That's him." And it's like, "Oh shit!" But then I was like, well, "What does that really mean?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I used that shit, and it just fueled my addiction because I'm like, "See, I'm loving. See, see, yeah." And it's yeah, that
I
sexual addiction
I
deep.
still feel the same way actually. So, and when we talked about, if I was okay, kind of like, if I was looking for love or something like that, and that's why it's so hard to answer because I am that same definition.
Yeah.
I like, I'm not sure what it means to find the one anymore, even though years back I thought I did.
Yeah.
And so but even then I lost it because of the way I was, which is the whole polyamorous thing where I was just like, oh wow, there's another I love her too. She's I think the
Yeah.
woman body is just fucking everything in the whole world. And then you can birth a fucking life. To me, it's just amazing. And I'm so fascinated by everything about it. And so that's why I'm just like,
To me,
crap.
I began to understand and embrace lust.
Hmm.
and making a different, like, differentiating the two meant was really big for me, because like it's like, I don't love these women. I love the way they look, and I
Hmm.
love the way it's gonna look when I have her bent over. I really love that idea, right? But
Yeah.
it's not her, and like I became okay with being that level of honest with things with myself, with like, and so even now, like,
Yeah.
if I were to see a girl that I would like to fuck, I could be like, Jesus fucking Christ. And my girl's gonna be like, really? I'm like, what? And she's like, you're crazy. And that, but that's lust, right? And
Yeah.
I can just get that out without having to hide. Like, it's just that's a deep conversation that'll be really good one day.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Yeah.
Knowing the difference between love and lust, and once you have both, you can label them properly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's interesting because they're both intertwined for me, and it's
Hmm.
like, so that's why every time I sleep with a girl, usually within a week, and I don't say this because it's just because I'm estimating. It's just because I know now because I'm 33 and it's happened a lot of times. Within 1 week, the girl will tell me she loves me, and
Hmm.
in her eyes, I'm the one. And this is why I've kind of toned down my attitude a lot, and this I don't have girls here every day and this and that because I'm like, what am I doing? Because I felt like I was playing God in a sense, because when we're in that intimate stage, I am truly fascinated by women. I will fucking the lust takes over, but it's the wonderment that's also intertwined with it, where I'm like, wow, look at you. Like, this is just amazing. It's just like the crevices, the body, and then the mind. When you meet all these women that think differently and why they think the certain way, to me, that's so fascinating because I'm big into psychology. So, what I do, I have psychology sex.
I got this sounds this sounds real toxic. This is
Yeah.
about to go. Let me
Jerry.
add some. I'm going to add some edit notes right here to go back and listen to this one before we put this out. Continue with that. Psychology sex.
Psy-
Explain it to the people.
yeah, psychology sex. So it's along with making love to the body, you're also making love to the mind. And I think I do that really well. And so when I was getting these feedback responses, pretty much you have a product and then you get feedback from the customer. It was kind of like that, and it felt really weird after a while. And then I was like, well, fuck, maybe I just have like this magic dick. Maybe that was it. Maybe that's the secret formula. But then I realized what I was doing without doing it on purpose. It was just my fascination with it all. And I was
Mm.
just like, when you do the like little nibbles and bites here, I was so fascinated about the brain. And so it would be kisses on the forehead, kisses on the ankles, and like really feeling the body like that. And what it would do, it would make them feel like they were the only person in my world at that moment. It was almost like, wow, he gets me, he understands me. And it was pure selfish on my part because I'm just truly fascinated. It was they could have been somebody else and I would have had a different response, be like, well, you think like this now. That's just I'm such a researcher in that, but then I love sex, so it was definitely mind jam.
I mean, come
uh,
on, no
uh,
appreciation for the timing.
yeah, that is it. That is it.
Yeah, no, man. I feel you. I feel you on it. When I see, for me, back when I was fucking super addicted to sex, like, it wasn't. It was. I, I would like to be like y'all. It was my appreciation for the. It was selfish. Like, no,
Yeah.
I wanted to nut. Like,
Yeah.
you're hot, and like God made a perfect body. Thank you. But
Fuck,
like,
right?
after I nut,
Get
I'm
off
ready to
me.
go. I'm ready to go. Like, it's that's how that's what I mean by destructive,
Yeah.
because like I was doing things with no regard on how it may affect other people.
Right.
So like, even though my intention was never to fall in love with this girl that I was having sex with or that girl that I was having sex with. And I never even pretended it was to them, right?
Yeah.
It still may affect them differently. Just because it's this for me, it's selfish to have the same assumption of responsibility for them. No,
Right.
you should just think of it this way because I do.
Right.
That to me is kind of fucked up behavior, right? And it's like I knew it was fucked up behavior and did it continuously anyways. That's why it was an addiction. It's like I know what I'm doing, I'm going to feel fucked up about tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I'm also know that I'm probably going to do it to someone else tomorrow
Yeah.
and feel equally as fucked up. And I know the fucked up feeling is coming, but the feeling of coming, see what I did there,
Hmm.
is better. So I'm just going to do it. And that's the same thing as people that smoke and crack. I know in the morning I'm going to feel like a crackhead and question why the fuck do I keep doing this to myself? Same with the people that have drinking problems.
Yeah.
I know this is going to make me feel fucked up tomorrow, but how it's going to make me feel in these 4 hours is far more important to me right now.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing to me.
Yeah. It's kind of
How
like
did we get to this? I feel like we started off in a bright conversation.
well, it's all been the same mixed conversation in a way. The psychology of the mind type thing, I believe. When it comes to homelessness, why, how can we ask them questions and then it stems about us and it
Yeah,
works out.
I'm with it.
I wonder if the homeless people just need to have more sex and then you have body heat.
Mm. Two problems solved, right?
Hey, there it is. Full
I,
circle, baby. Full
I feel
circle.
it. I feel it. Oh man, you got any what the fuck news today? There's no easy transition into I want to end on some light shit though. I want to laugh.
well, let's see here. I
Or
kind of
even if
have,
it's not news or just some funny shit.
yeah, I kind of have two. I mean, and a lot of odd news is, yeah, a lot of people just kind of winning money out of the wit's end over some random shit and stuff like that. But two things that caught my attention, and one of them's kind of not quite that happy. And so we'll talk about that, just get out of the way. But in where is it at? I lost it. Here it is. So in like the world news, so African travelers could be required to pay a 15,000 bond to enter the United States per via the new Trump rule from his administration. And it was pretty much to send a message to certain nations to encourage their citizens to abide by the conditions of the US visas. Isn't that crazy?
It's it feels like it just feels fucked up.
It's just
It's
like
I don't even want I
it's that
wanted to say
money talk
racism, but
again.
that's classism, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like it's just disgusting. That feels nasty.
It doesn't make sense at all. And it's just like that's one of my focuses of why I want money. I don't want to worry about any problems. I think all humans have the right to travel worldwide when they want to. Now, space
Yeah.
might be a little different subject. Go ahead and charge 50 grand for that plus, but
Mm.
it is
Yeah.
it is crazy. And
That's
then
kind of like that's on a smaller scale of that. But the travel freely thing. So in May we went down to Florida to the ocean, right? We were in Destin, Florida at first, right? And there's sections of the beach that you can't be on unless you stay at this resort.
right.
And I was like, wait a minute. You can be on the beach, you can't sit down in the sand. And I'm like,
Wait, what?
how do you own the fucking ocean?
Yeah.
Like literally there are signs that says unless you're staying at such and such resort, this is a private beach. How you got a private beach that's not an island? I understand if you buy an island.
Yeah.
This is private beach, but 2 steps that way is now public and then it's private again. Who the fuck bought the ocean? Who sold it?
Fuck, right?
Like it felt nasty.
Yeah, that's
And so we
definitely
left and went to Pensacola Beach where it's just public beaches and it's beautiful. But I was like, we left, bro. I was like, yo, this feels nasty.
fuck.
Who the fuck owns the ocean, nigga? Like, you can't tell me I can't be here. Like, what are you talking about?
I don't know. That's fucking crazy.
Yes, and it's nuts.
It's just
It's
power trips.
classism, bro. If you didn't pay, people that stay at these resorts only want to be around a certain caliber or class of people. And it
Right.
costs so much to stay at these resorts. This is the way to guarantee that.
Damn.
And that's what it's the same fucking thing. It's nasty.
Right. I got a couple few here. Let me just run through three more things, but I do want to end one thing with just some personal news as well. So, what the fuck news? Let's see. Randomly, a customer orders one beer for $7 and tips $3,000,
I seen that, yeah.
which kind of fucks me up in a way. Well, it doesn't. So, I work in the restaurant industry, and I'm the person in charge because we don't have managers on sites on the weekends. So if there's a
Mm-hmm.
complaint or an issue, I'm pretty much the boss on the weekends. And this lady calls on Sunday night and we do like a DoorDash order for her and we pack it up, this and that. And she ordered like 6 things or some shit like that. And she was like, "Hey, I ordered this type of salad and it had this, and this, and croutons. And I've ordered this salad all the time. It doesn't have croutons." And I'm like, "Okay, so the salad was right. It just didn't, not supposed to have croutons." She's like, "Yes." And it didn't have any salad dressing in it. I was like, "Oh, well, shit." I was like, because I thought there was a big complaint, like we forgot a whole meal or forgot the salad or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
She calls to tell us or to tell me and profusely like raise her voice. And she's like, I go in there every day. I go in there a lot. And just the other day, I tipped somebody $100 just because through this times we're having. And I love your restaurant and it's high quality service. And I am just so disgraced at you guys right now. What was missing out of her whole meal was a small thimble of salad dressing.
Jesus.
And she said she would never return ever again because of that. And I didn't realize what she was really mad at. And I was like, "Oh, it's just a salad dressing." And she decided to blow up the whole thing. And so I find that interesting about, people leaving big tips and stuff like that. But I was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But yeah, did you also read some news about a website offering some money to watch?
No.
So there's a website offering $2,500 to watch 25 holiday films in 25 days. And so it's dedicated to reviews of electronic devices and servicing and stuff like that. But you have to, I think it's like reviews.org. I think that's the website or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll receive the $2,500 in year-long subscriptions to Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, HBO Max, and Apple TV. Not a bad deal for watching 25 movies. And then you create a fucking survey. And I'm just like, fuck. I mean, naturally, that's amazing for sitting on your ass and watching movies and completing a survey. But it's just like, I almost wants to say cheap money. You know what I mean? Or cheap publicity. Or I don't know what to say. I don't know how to feel about those anymore.
To me, what it sounds like to me is if you ever wondered how much your data and your behavior is worth.
Mm-hmm. I like that point of view because that's definitely right. It's like one of those people like you'll see like celebrities will be like, "Yo, share this post and the winner will get like, $5,000." And usually it's some weird celebrity. And I'm like, "Yo, you got money to give everybody like $100. Just do that instead." Or
Nah, yeah. I'm seeing it on Instagram now.
mm-hmm.
More giveaways than I've ever seen. And it's not to get money, it's to keep so they'll be in the algorithm.
Right.
I need you to comment on this so I can stay in your news feed. And they'll be like, or they'll just start giving out cash on Wednesdays. Comment your name and your Cash App below. And if 1,000 people comment, you don't have to say how many you're giving out. You can even say I'm giving $100 to 5 people out there. If 1,000 people comment on it, you have to be following me.
That's crazy. I almost want to do that just for the publicity, but it doesn't feel right.
It feels silly, right? Like it just doesn't. Yeah, I'm with you on that, man. And that's another thing that it's interesting you said that. Before we got on, I was telling you how like I've just been like diving into my at-home resources, right? Because I everything that I want to do, even on a major scale. So when this podcast and my other shows are some of the biggest in the world, they will still be done from my home. Like I'll be on the road doing some too, but like home base will still be home base, right?
Yeah.
And so like when I'm looking into like the best way to use my resources and use the things around me and things that I like and love, that's one of the things that I've came up with, that like I'm not willing to do cheap shit to cut corners
Right.
or to skip steps, right? I'm not willing to do shit that just feels kind of yeah. And so maybe it's going to take me a little bit longer, but it's very, very important for me to be able to say I did it my way now.
Right.
And it's the only reason I'm even thinking about venturing back into the music side of things, because I'm now free to just be creative and I can just put it out. Because before I just knew I wasn't willing to do the things it was going to take at the time to make it happen.
Right.
But now I can kind of do it my way, right? And so it can just be about this and about that. And it's yeah, not having to do any of those gimmicky things, you know?
Yeah, I know.
I don't like gimmicks.
Yeah, it's just like just help. That's it. I just want
Yeah. Yeah.
to
If you want to help, just help. Yeah.
just that's it. Just help. And one last news, I'm pretty big into space and science and shit like that. And a long time ago, I wanted to be an astronomer and an archaeologist. And actually, I was going to move to Arizona to go to college because it said it had one of the best astronomy programs, and I think it was ASU. I can't remember, or University of Arizona. But so always been interested in space, and so like towards the end of December, between the 16th and 25th, we're actually going to witness a super rare planetarian alignment and not seen in 800 years, where it's going to have Jupiter and Saturn will get closer to each other in Earth's night sky. And it's pretty much going to be like the fifth of the diameter of the full moon. And last time that's even gotten close, I mean, they're naturally far apart, but as close as they're going to be from our eyes, the last time it happened was March 4th, 1226. And so
Damn.
if you like some space shit and star watching, go ahead and check that out towards the end of December. And if you're interested in spirituality, they say, that's where a lot of ascension's going to take place. And we're going to enter this whole golden age from Aquarius and shit like that. So I would suggest meditating and put good intentions out there and going from there.
Yeah.
And I did text you. I'm thinking about moving to Arizona here soon. So we'll see how
Any
that turns back.
any anything strategic about that? Plans when you get there, anything like that?
No,
Or
honestly,
is it just time?
yeah. Well, it's always called me. Like Arizona and Canada has called my name for a while, and I never
Did you
knew
say
why.
Canada?
Yeah,
Oh,
Canada,
okay.
and I can't go to Canada because I have a
Yeah.
record. But Arizona, so it's pretty much the night sky. Honestly, I don't like desert that much, but I'm looking for nice weather. I guess hot all year round, and a place that has more kids my age. They're definitely college towns over there.
What are you thinking? Scottsdale?
Right
Phoenix,
now,
Tucson?
Tempe,
Tempe, huh?
which is pretty much Phoenix, and right below
Yeah.
Scottsdale. They're all like in this melting pot in the middle,
Uh-huh.
right there. And plus, I want to be close to a big airport, and it's still close to San Diego. If I want to, pretty much close to anywhere I would want to travel, and then I go to Mexico, just right there. But I'm not sure about the whole hot weather. I don't mind hot weather, but hot weather. But looking
Yeah, I
up,
heard it gets hot.
yeah, but rent wise, what I'm paying now, I can get a bigger place in Arizona for the same thing I'm paying.
Really?
Yeah. And
Wow.
and they don't tax on social security and stuff like that, but I mean Oregon has no sales tax, so that's kind of nice too. But it's just kind of an option. So I'm going to take a trip out there. And I would like to do San Diego, but that shit is expensive because I was apartment searching and stuff like that. I would have to rent out a room for somebody, and I don't want any roommates. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
so we'll see how it goes. I'm going to take a trip out there and go from there. And if anybody lives in Arizona, or drop a comment and kind of let me know what your thoughts and feels are, and Probably give me some advice if you know any.
Yeah, another fun space fact to end on, and I can't think of the dude's name now, so some hero he is. But we do have the first black astronaut kind of on the International Space Station right now.
Hey.
And so he posted a video of his view of the Earth. I got the video. It's on my Twitter somewhere. But the funniest shit in the video, and this is why I say like I'm grown up, but like I'm still super childish because he's showing a video of Earth from the International Space Station. Then he flips the camera around on himself, right? And the
Mm.
only thing I noticed in the video is that my man had a wave cap on in space. And I'm like, yo, this nigga's got a do rag on in space. So in space, he's still trying to hook his waves up. That's dedication right there. That's the real black astronaut.
Fuck
That's
yeah.
real. And I texted my cousin Jamal the video. And hold on. So I texted him the video and I was like, this brother, I didn't say brother, but you know, this brother's got a do rag on in space. And he said he trying to keep them waves up for when he gets back and his pussy rate jumps up because he been in space.
Hmm.
I said you gotta stay ready.
That's it.
But yeah, I guess it says more about me and my not shit ass that was literally the only thing I noticed. I was like, yo, my man got a wave cap on.
No, that's definitely interesting. Like, it'd be the last thing probably my concern because I cut my hair short. But it's like, fuck,
Yeah. And
gotta
you remember the packet? Like, what was that conversation with NASA like?
right?
I'm sorry, sir. What is that? It's a wave cap.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, buddy. You're just gonna have to explain to us what it does. It's I need it. It's essential. Okay.
Right. You know, the tinfoil blocks the aliens from reading your minds. Well, this is different. I know my
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm good. I gotta stay waved up. I'm gonna be on IG, so I need this shit to be right. Like, and
man.
it makes me wonder: did he take a brush and hair grease and everything? Like, what did you take? I need to see
Right?
your essentials list.
He
That's
should have
funny.
did it before and after.
Yeah, bruh. I need to see.
Man, I just looked at your Twitter and you retweeted something about with Joe Biden where it says America is back. Really
Oh,
quickly, I thought he said America is black. And I was like, oh, he is
oh,
just
that would have been the yeah.
he's just going in, huh? He's
Yeah.
going there.
Joe said, "F it, we here."
Yeah,
I
America's
did find
black,
that
baby.
I do like when politicians tweet stuff like that with no context.
Right.
Even when he said America is back, and that's why I said how.
Yeah, right.
like, what exact? I'm not saying it's not back. I'm just saying like, what are the metrics that you're using? Because we don't know what this means.
Yeah, we don't know. Yeah, it's a fancy quote saying, yeah.
Yeah,
How you
so
gonna
you
hype
know.
yourself up? That's what he's doing.
That's exactly what he's doing. And it's like, bruh, you were supposed to tell somebody else to tweet that.
Yeah. And then tag you in it or some shit. Because he hasn't done
Yeah,
nothing
man.
yet. He's not even president yet. What is he doing?
I don't know. He did get clearance though.
I
Did you
saw
see
that.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like finally a step towards reality.
Our
So
money. I mean, yeah, reality.
yeah.
You got to
So yeah,
pay me.
you know, cut the check, baby.
Right?
Listen, because Trump can get one last applause from me.
Right.
Let this nigga cut this check before he walk out of there. I'm gonna say, hey, you know what? He wasn't that bad, bro.
It's gonna change the mind quick. Yeah, you know what? He wasn't that bad.
We might not have gave him a chance, bro.
Freedom of
He
speech.
just
We get it.
he just misunderstood.
Yeah.
Yeah, you cut the right check. You can change up your whole legacy, bro.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That's funny
Oh, that's
because
funny.
that would happen quick.
A lot of people would just be like, hey, we had worse, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
What did he really do though? Like,
Yeah. Was it that bad? I mean, he paid my
yeah,
rent. Like,
yeah, twice.
yeah. Good.
Oh shit. That's funny. Man, let's end this. Let's head out of here.
All right. Bada bing, bada boom. You want to let them know where
Yeah.
they can find us?
Yes, if you're listening on an iPhone, just go ahead and click that pretty purple little icon that says podcast. We'll
They
be inside of there. Search it, Cloud Conversations. Subscribe, rate, review. Leave us a nice little note in the reviews. We will shout you out on the air. If you're inside Spotify, you can follow us there. They do alert you now of when you get new episodes. So that is a plus. The audio version of this is also currently on YouTube, Google Play, maybe Stitcher, iHeartRadio, wherever you listen to a podcast, you can probably find this one. And just know if you listen to this one, we appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
That's about all I got.
That's it. Me too. Love everybody. Thanks for listening and tuning in. Share, like, comment, drop your emoji. Just
Mhm.
just share the love and fucking we'll see you next time. Love you guys.
Stop sucking dick for crack.
That's right. Don't do
There's
it.
other options
That's right.
if that's what you want. We're
Yeah.
out.